Welcome, you're on the Fringe show. I'm your host, Satyana Zalan, and I go live on Fridays at 2 p.m. Dubai time. We almost went live half an hour ago, but something happened, and I
With
think that there
internet
was
and just gone,
some
yeah.
technical issue. But anyway, we'll do it again. We had a good rehearsal in that case. We on the Fringe show, where I'm talking about technology, art, and society, and I help you to navigate the rapidly changing world and uncertain future so that you can take advantage of the opportunities in the new digital world as well. It's episode 65, and the title of this episode is Read the Fine Print, and it's all about NFTs. You know that I talk a lot about NFTs. NFTs are still hyped, rather. They're quite actively bought, they're invested into. But what we're going to look at is, well, what are the legalities of these actions for creators and investors? We are doing this with Richard. It's an interview with Richard, co-founder of Vernissage. It's a Web3 community for digital creators. We are going to talk about aspects that are not widely known and sometimes very much misunderstood. But before we go any further, just a disclaimer: it's not investment advice, it's not legal advice. None of us are legal experts or financial experts, but we do want to understand some of these issues, and we're sharing what we've learned with you so that you can probably be aware of all these misunderstandings. Plus, legalities differ quite widely across countries, so you need to do your own research. Here, mainly, we're talking or discussing NFTs from the standpoint of the US law, which is followed by major platforms on which NFTs are bought and sold. And another thing is that we're focusing on the artwork. It's not tokens and NFTs for, say, real estate or any other deeds. It's just the artwork that we're truly interested in and focusing on. And the Fringe show is for educational purposes only. And the way we're going to do it is like an interview. I'll throw a few questions at Richard, and hopefully he will be able to enlighten us about some of the aspects of NFTs, the most misunderstood ones. So let's start with one general question. Well, what are the most misunderstood aspects of NFTs?
Hello, good to be here. I would like to enlighten myself, and I keep enlightening myself all the time because there's so much happening and so many new things to find out.
We're all learners in the space.
Yeah. So what are the biggest misconception about NFTs are actually what is NFT? People think it's an art. Another misconception is what are the legalities? What do I own? What can I buy? Can I buy royalties? These are probably the most common questions. I can see people wondering about this, especially those ones coming new to this space. People still don't understand.
Okay, so maybe let's unpack these issues one by one. Let's start with what's an NFT, how does it work, and can you describe the technology for us, please?
I'm not a technologist as such, but I will try to put it in a very, very simple terms. To start with, NFT is not art. NFT points to an art. NFT is a token. It's a tool that is controlled and run by a smart contract. And people will immediately ask, what is smart contract? This smart contract is neither smart, nor is a contract. It's a piece of code that determines how NFT acts and all its operations. NFT is a digital certificate of ownership. So it lives on the blockchain because it's in a decentralized form, lives on the blockchain and points to an art that is, or the asset, we're talking art, so points to an art that is usually stored somewhere else in a decentralized storage system. Most common one is IPFS. And when you buy NFT, you actually own a smart contract that controls this NFT. That's in a very simple form. If you want to relate it to life that we know, if you own a piece of land, in order to prove that you own a piece of land, you show a deed or a certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what NFT is actually, but in a very digital and kind of enhanced form. Yeah. So this is the and sits on blockchain. As I said.
Yeah, and I still find that people even on LinkedIn commenting, and it's very, very clear that they don't understand the difference between an NFT and the JPEG. So yeah,
your students are apparently code.
And my students, don't understand it either. Although they buy and sell NFTs and sometimes even create them. But if you can probably enlighten us about, well, what's the difference between purchasing a physical artwork and a digital artwork?
There's a quite significant difference. The major one is when you buy physical art, like the one that hangs just behind us, not all, just one, you physically own this piece of art. You can take it home and you can display it, you can brag about it, you can resell it. When you buy NFT, you own the contract and this NFT, the certificate that points to art. Therefore, you do not own the art. You don't.
Yeah, which is very counterintuitive.
And it is very kind of, yes, people immediately assume I own the piece of art. No, you don't. You can potentially own the rights to display, which we will probably touch later because I'm sure we need to discuss that. You can sell NFT, but you do not own physical. You do not own the actual artwork.
Okay.
That's the in really essence of it, just to have clear view of it, just between these two. Yeah.
And now turning to the issue of licensing, well, what needs to be considered here with licensing?
Well, it's either for a buyer and a creator. Licensing means rights to display, for example. It is automatically assumed that when you buy an NFT, you can go and display it anywhere. Actually, you don't. You cannot do that. It's illegal, actually, according to current law. You cannot create derivative work from it. Means you cannot use this image of the art that NFT points to do your T-shirts or put it on your sneakers or on a shopping bag. You can't do that.
Unless you probably specify it, because this is what Baker doing, Bored Apes, right? Mm-hmm. They do have, whoever buys it has the right to derivatives.
They have everything. It's a Creative Commons license, means they can do whatever they wish.
Yeah.
However, from an artist point of view or creator point of view, who created this piece of art, he would like to this art to be displayed somewhere. So if you created this piece of art and I bought NFT of it, you would like to give me display rights so I can take it, put it in a hotel or somewhere and restaurant, whoever would like to enjoy it. And otherwise, I can't do that. So it's in your interest as an artist to provide these rights.
Is there something, a functionality that's offered by smart contract, or this is something that needs to be put on paper?
It's definitely can be put on programmed into a smart contract with a difference, whether it's a copyright or whether it's a display right, whether it's derivative work. It probably can be put in a contract, in a smart contract. However, the very specific licensing rights are still being used in a paper form, which is kind of defined. I mean, call it not with the decentralized system that doesn't follow the system, but because there is no any other laws, you might actually go for paper contract.
Okay.
It is still in practice, actually. Yeah, in the serious works, in a serious museum, it's still in practice.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about transferring a digital file. How do you sell and transfer a digital file without making an unauthorized copy of it? Because this is the issue of copyright, and it's very, very tricky.
Yes, and we're talking about law as exists right now. We're not talking about what people do, because that's we're trying to emphasize what's right, what's wrong. Traditionally, you could probably pass on the digital work on a digital medium. Could be a CD. I'm not sure those ones with a bit of a younger age might probably don't know what CD is, or USB drive, providing that this art that is on this medium has been legally, the copy has been legally created. So you need to ensure that you actually own the right, or you actually it's legally to be there when you want to pass it on to someone or sell it to someone else. I'm talking about digital art. Okay, we're not talking about NFTs as such, because NFT would not be on a digital disc. Yeah. So we're talking art. So if it is legally that came to this disc, you can pass it on to someone, and you're not breaking law because you're not creating any copy.
Okay.
You're not making another copy of that.
Okay, so we do it an old-fashioned way. What about, let's talk about royalties. Is there any guarantee of royalties through smart contracts, and what are the intricacies here? Because there are some as well.
Yeah, there are some. Yeah, and that's very interesting. And many galleries, many platforms announcing that royalty is guaranteed. No, it's not guaranteed. Royalty actually are not guaranteed. Royalty are encoded in a smart contract. So when you're reselling smart contract, being triggered and royalty go to a creator. However, with certain conditions, if that secondary sale happens on the same platform I bought it from. So if I bought
I'm sure many people don't even know about it, that it has to be the same platform.
But it's not because it's legal or illegal. It's just technologically, there are loopholes that exist. For example, I bought a NFT in platform X, and I've taken off the market, and I had it for a while. Now I want to sell it, but I want to sell it on the platform Z. So I'm going to another platform. I'm not doing anything illegal, because I own the smart contract. I go to the other platform, put it on sale, and believe it or not, that smart contract will not be triggered. It's triggered only if you do the same on the same platform, reselling on the same platform. Another example of kind of bypassing the royalties is when I put it on my own ledger, NFT. Sits on a ledger, and you, for example, want to buy it from me. You're sending me Bitcoin, for example, for it. I'm sending you NFT. Smart contract will not be triggered. So guaranteeing royalties, it's misleading and artists and the buyers, because it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a very good point to remember.
It's unbelievable, actually, how people do not know about it, but actually it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, very, very interesting and useful insight. Well, I think probably what we also want to talk about, because there is a copyright issues there, it's AI-generated art, right? Sometimes it can be represented as NFT. It doesn't have to be, but in many cases it is. So what's the legal status of AI-generated art? NFTs created.
NFT. Can I get to that answer just in a second? I would like to say something about AI-generated art. Not that I'm AI expert at all. I just understand what AI-generated art at the moment is on those known platforms like DALL-E and Midjourney. What it is, it's a trained algorithm that was trained. It's an algorithm that was trained on existing database. When you think about the word existing, means on something that happened today, back, not in front of you, not in the future, but in the past.
It's not forward looking.
It's not forward. No. It's looking backwards. I mean, looking towards the past. So the way people create this artificial AI art generating is by using prompts, certain prompts. It's like a command. You can literally, like a plain English, specify what do you want AI to create, and AI goes through internet, collects all this information, puts all the images, and basically recycle them. And in a form that actually might look nice, kind of. I'm very proud of my own creation.
Yeah, then Salvador Dali like.
Yeah. I quite like this actually. I mean, I like this part of creating, but it cannot be. This AI cannot create a new movement. We will just mention that later, but AI cannot create movement that hasn't been seen before. So it's all recycling. Going back to copyrights, it cannot be copyrighted.
Yeah. So creators beware, it can't be.
It cannot be copyrighted because all copyrights refer to human creation. And there was an example of what's his name?
Jason Allen.
Jason Allen, yes. He created very sophisticated and really nice to look at piece of art.
That won an award.
First prize. And it took him over 900 different images to, again, and reload and redo and tweaking in Photoshop.
And a lot of work as
well. A lot of work, yes. Mm-hmm. And he won this award as a first prize. And then he applied for copyright. And he was refused 3 times.
Oh, okay. Did he ever get accepted?
No. He was refused. You cannot copyright it. And what it leads me to believe that artwork created by actual artists, human, will always have much higher value than AI creation. Look, from visual perspective, these AI created artworks are kind of nice to look at, very striking, very interesting. But you need to remember that it's all recycling what was done before.
Yeah. And just on this question of recycling, and we will be wrapping up, just today I came across a wonderful quote by Alfred Schnittke, who is Russian composer of German origin, hence the name. And he's one of the most performed artists of the 20th century. And this is what he said. I love this quote. It's my own translation from Russian. For a pearl to form in the mother of pearls, which lies at the bottom of the ocean, you need a piece of sand, something irregular, foreign. The same happens in art, where all greatness is born because someone broke the rule. Now I understand that this mistake of handling a certain rule at the age of risk is precisely the zone where life-going elements of art originate and develop. So pearls are a product of a mistake, and the AI only follows the rules.
It cannot break the rules.
It cannot break the rules, unfortunately.
It cannot invent a new impressionist movement, for example. It cannot.
For example, or any other movement for that matter. So I think we'll just summarize a few things for our creators, our collectors. What are probably a quick summary, a quick insight into what are the 3-4 lessons that we need to learn?
I think for creators and for NFT buyers, the copyrights and IPs are still very gray area. We can only hope, and probably it is happening. Lawyers around the world are probably working on creating some framework for NFTs, but it is still extremely gray area. Another point is don't assume immediately when you buy NFT that you own copyrights and you can display it, because you don't, unless it's specifically provided either in smart contract or as a normal paper contract. Royalties, I think that's probably one of the big ones. Royalties are very questionable meaning they're not guaranteed. And artists should be aware of that. Another aspect that we haven't talked about, it's when one artist mints or creates NFT on one platform and then wants to go and create another NFT on another platform with the same art, there is no technology yet to to spot it and put the red flag that there's something is not right, because that NFT is supposed to be unique. So you cannot have two unique NFTs. However, we read that some actually, some companies actually trying to tackle this problem, and potentially it might actually be fixed.
So at the moment, it's only the artist's reputation that holds people or prevents people from doing this. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no technology yet.
Maybe I think we haven't mentioned once. Maybe I should have mentioned that about the displaying rights. Or did we mention that? I forgot. That you, as an artist, for example, you would like me to display NFT that you created because you would like to be known. You would like to be admired by others. So it is in the hands of artists to make sure that NFT, it means, is included displaying rights. Otherwise, if someone who wants to display it would be doing it illegally. So just to cover yourself, just include it in the smart contract. It's
or
probably
in a paper contract.
Or in a paper, but
the case might be.
But I think that is an issue. So you would like to give those rights to displaying your NFT if you're an artist. Yeah? That's probably all I would indicate. Yeah, it's of course there are many gray areas there. There's still many unanswered questions, but we're still learning and we're still discovering new things.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think this is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned something. At least you need to be mindful of these issues. Still, I think it's the NFT space as a whole legal minefield, and hopefully we will have solutions soon. And as you mentioned, maybe lawyers and legal scholars are working on that right now. Well, anyway, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Yeah. And we'll see you at 2 p.m. Dubai time next Friday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.